Hi guys, and welcome to my very first game on the latest DLC for Total War, The Shadow and the Blade, which I'm super excited to play. And I immediately hopped into a game with the clan Hessian, so this new Skaven for the DLC, who are normally led by Deathmaster Snekic. But as you may see, I have a new little different lord. Let's have a little look at my army overall, and you can see the new units I have brought. So up front, we have some standard Knight Runner Slingers. Now these little guys still look very cool, and they fit the clan Hessian kind of mould. I'm just using these guys up against the Wood Elves here to be a bit of a distraction, annoy my opponent, and for a little bit of free scouting. Now for my main battle line, nothing too new here, still some of the old faces. We have 5 units of Clan Rats with shields. These guys very good against Wood Elves, not too bad against their infantry. They get mulched by Dryads pretty heavily, but they do okay against Eternal Guard and so forth, and they've got shielded so they can just soak up that missile fire. So we do have 5 units of those, 2 on this left flank, 3 across the front line. So in a quite defensive position here, and they all have 1 chevron. Now the reason that I have 2 on the left and none on the right hand flank is I'm trying to tease my opponent in here with maybe some wild riders, because I have some sneakiness hiding in the trees. We do have some hidden rat ogres ready to ambush anyone on this seemingly weaker flank. And up in the front here, we do have a Doom Wheel. That is just going to be up front, trying to roll over the enemy wherever possible. Very good against nice, squishy, pointy-eared elflins. Now this is where the real fun starts, and we get to see some of the new units. So in the centre I do have 2 units of the Poisoned Wind Mortars, so very excited to try these guys out. And they are my only range for this battle, which is quite light for me. When I normally go Skaven, I tend to take Giselles and Warp Block, Lightning Cannons and all that kind of cool stuff. But we're going to give these guys a go. Their models are incredibly cool, and one thing you have to say about the Skaven, their models are always awesome. We also have the Avalanche Mortars here, which is the Regiment of Renowned version. Going to be shooting these purple shots, and they have more of a spray effect, and I think they are going to be very, very, very good. So also in the back here, protecting those guys, we have a bodyguard for each one of the Hessian Triads, including the Regiment of Renowned version right here. And these guys just look crazy awesome. Look at them screaming. They do all kinds of awesome flips with their little staves here. They have Weeping Blades, they're armor piercing, anti-large, and of course they have Stalk. So they're going to be trying once again to lure in any Wild Riders, which I think are a very popular pick in this matchup. So these guys seem a little bit undefended, and these guys are right here to catch out any light cav. And right in the very back reserve here, we do have Vistrin's Death Squad, the Regiment Death Runners, and I have to get this unit in campaign. Look how unbelievably badass they look. Master, kind of not full-on assassins, but they're training, they're doing their best, and that's basically what they are, is a little unit of kind of lower-tier assassins. They have Weeping Blades, which for those who don't know is a minus 50% to your armor for 35 seconds, which is actually huge, and a really good ability there. They also have Duck and Weave, which is pretty good, and Concealment Bombs, and of course they have Stalk and all that good stuff. They're my anti-infantry specialists here. So, for my leadership, I am trying out the new law of magic here, and that is with the Hessian Sorcerer. So let's look and see what spells I have brought. I've gone fairly heavy on the spells, just because I want to try a few new things. We do have Skitterleap, which has now been moved to this law, which most of you guys, I'm sure, is aware, but it gives you Stalk, Unspotable, and increases your speed, which can always be very good against the Wood Elves, who like to do that skirmish game. We have Armour of Darkness, plus 60 armour, and plus 22% missile resistance, going to be very good against Wood Elves as well. Brought the Black Whirlwind, which is a Vortex spell. Haven't tried it out too much, but I wanted to bring it just because it's a Vortex. You know, they're very, very cool. We have Brittle Bones. Now, this is my most important ability. So this is minus 40 melee defense, 24% speed, and 9% vigor. Only 11 Winds of Magic, which isn't too much considering minus 40 melee defense, and we're going to be combining that with our awesome new lord here, the Master Assassin. So we're going to be trying to drop that spell on people, and then we're going to be coming in with Lumen Dread to decrease their speed by another 48%, minus missile resistance, minus another 24 melee defense. Oh, he's going to do his cool spin kick animations. Oh no, he's going to do a little bit of stabbings with his Wolverine claws there. Oh no, there we go. Just look, how can you not love the new Clan Hessian stuff? It's so cool. We have Ride or Hide Talisman as well for that minus 14 melee attack, and of course Slippery, and we also bought the Sacred Banner of the Horned Rat. It's not overly great, but I thought I might as well bring. I'm going to be fully kitting him out the first time I use him. So he's a very cool model, incredibly cool attack animations and flips and all kinds of awesome stuff. Combined with the Brittle Bone spell, I'm really hoping to snipe out some lords. So for my opponent, he's gone for a very cool build of trying to kind of control the map wherever he can and do that skirmish game that the Wood Elves very famous for. So over on the left-hand flank, he has 2 units of Wild Riders with shields hiding in the trees. Going to be trying to get onto my soft and squishy range targets, no doubt. Over on the other flank, he has 3 units of Dryads hidden in these trees here, and I have absolutely no idea they're here. I was expecting Wild Riders on the flank, I was not expecting Dryads. Up front for his main block of his army, he does have 4 units of Waywatchers, which I only ever really go a maximum of 3. Which I think is the tournament limit anyway, so it's kind of a good habit to get into, as these guys are incredibly squishy. They do not have much ammo, but they do ridiculous amounts of damage, and if they manage to spot my Master Assassin or my Sorcerer, they're going to be able to take them out in like 1 or 2 volleys, easy. So for his main kind of infantry corps, if we can call it that, it's just 2 units of War Dancers, Azrai Spears, nice anti-large, and up in the sky we do have a Glade Lord, so let's get this underway. I'm assuming he has brought... No, he hasn't brought Helm of Discord, just brought Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, and obviously has Call of the Woods. So let's get this battle underway. So as you can see, we are going to be moving up our main army, trying to get into this little bit of a dip, which we have to, lose the advantage of hiding our Rattlewingers in the trees, which was kind of like a little trap I wanted to do, but I could see my opponent was going to be very defensive and skirmishy. So what we're taking is our Night Runners, moving them up front and just soaking up this missile fire. We are happy for a few little Night Runners to go down, as long as it wastes Waywatcher ammo. As you can see, these guys are already down to 19 volleys left. They do not have much ammo at all. And, this is perfect for me. They're shooting a skirmish unit, which is just ducking and diving, dodging its way out of many arrows as possible, taking a tiny bit of damage, but you can see that ammunition is already getting pretty low. Big, nasty volley to the face there, taking quite a lot of damage. A little bit late on my micro there. You can see a few rats that go down. But once again, I'm happy for this to happen as long as they keep just wasting the shots. What we're going to be trying to do is getting them in range of our mortars, dragging them back and pulling them in with these Night Runners. You can see the mortars do get their first few shots away, and it is a little bit of a swing and a miss. That guy he stumbled a little bit. He stumbled, and it looks like it is in fact going to be slowing them down. So the mortars have a very cool ability which damages you over time, so it doesn't slow you down. You see they lose a little bit of HP. So we are, it's a slow tactical game. We're just trying to push and spot our enemy wherever they are. I don't want to push out too far, as I know he's probably got some flank and rear attacks ready for me. So we're just chilling, making him waste ammo wherever we can with the Night Runners, and then trying to lure them into the mortars. And as you can see, he's just trying to drag me over towards his Wild Riders, and also this very angry Glade Lord. Some very good play. He can just swoop in now and try and finish off these Night Runners, who've done very good so far. You can see the ammunition is dropped quite heavily, but he decides not to commit with the Glade Lord, as I do fall back a little bit. And I do rotate my Doom Wheel over to this side, knowing that the Waywatchers are here, and I want to keep that constant threat. Unfortunately, I did have my guys on fire at will, and as you see, they're wasting some mortar shots against the Glade Lord. Mortars, they're pretty good, but not very accurate at all. Much better against infantry, of course. In fact, only really good against infantry, and like having stuff, I suppose. But the avalanche mortars are the real deal, in my opinion. I think they can be much more competitive than the standard pick. As you see, my opponent does start to spring his first trap, and then my brave little Night Runners are trying to flee down as fast as they can down the hill. But Wild Riders incredibly fast, are easily going to run these guys down. You can see my guys are already starting to panic and rout. But I have managed to bunch up these Wild Riders, so I'm going to be launching my mortar strikes on them, trying to get that damage. And here we can see the purple spread shots of the avalanche mortars, which just are so much more effective in my opinion, especially when they actually hit infantry and so forth. Wild Riders, they can still do a very decent job against, though, who do start to flee back, and my poor little Night Runners are running for the hills. Some nice rear attacks coming in now, and as you can see, it's pretty decent damage, and these are a very expensive unit. So at the moment, I'm very happy just to play the slow game, move up my forces quite timidly, trying to spot out enemies where I can and take that damage and ammunition. As you can see, the power balance has already gone in my favour with these early exchanges, and another volley being wasted here on top of the Night Runner slingers. So one thing for new players, if you are playing with Waywatchers, always take them off fire at will mode. You don't want them wasting shots into beat up units like that. You need them to, to take out the key ones, take out the avalanche mortars, take out the Hessian sorcerer, the master assassin, and all those key targets, instead of just wasting it on clan rats and so forth. So once again, we are going to be advancing forward a little bit more, knowing that my opponent's still trying to play his skirmish game, even though I'm quite happy with how it's gone. But I have almost lost my one scouting unit here. Which is going to be really key, because I need to be able to hunt down these Waywatchers and spot them wherever I can. I don't want them sneaking up and starting to snipe out units. So we are moving up, and unfortunately that has exposed our flank to the Dryads over here. I still have no idea they're around. I assumed he had more forces back in these trees where his Glade Lord originally was. So we're going to rotate our Rat Ogres over to the left-hand side, knowing the Wild Riders are here, and the Doomwheel over to the right-hand side, and the Way Watchers finally get onto one of the targets they want to actually take out, but I managed to spot it quite early on. We are going to be sending up the Night Runners, trying to tease out another volley of shots, and the Avalanche Mortars do in fact manage to escape without suffering barely any damage and no losses there. And the Mortar is now firing in on top of some Way Watchers, getting some okay damage, nothing particularly spectacular, sorry, but it is driving them off at least. And now the real damage is coming in from the Avalanche Mortar. Those shots are so cool, they just spread out and doing some really nice damage to those Way Watchers, including the damage over time. But my opponent has had enough of this, and he's decided to spring his trap. Some Dryads are coming running out from the trees down the hill and ambushing my poor little clan rats. And it looks like he's going to be trying to force these guys across on top of the Avalanche and Mortars. But luckily I do manage to spot this and react, and up come the regiment-renowned Death Runners, the Death Squad, coming in with their flips and spins, launching into combat, and they're going to mulch through Dryads. Absolutely no issues. In fact, we have some mortar support coming in, which does a huge amount of friendly fire. But that is the Skaven way. We also do some massive damage to the Dryads, which is very nice. So we've managed to stall this engagement on the right-hand side, and he's coming bounding in with these Wild Riders down the hill, trying to get on top of the other units of Poison Wind Mortars. But I am going to retaliate by coming in with the Triads. With anti-large, I've been planning for this and waiting for this moment. So in comes the Glade Lord, trying to snipe out my Sorcerer, which is a nice pick, and getting on top of the Avalanche Mortars. But we're going to be dropping Brittle Bones, Looming Dread, Rival Tide Halberds. If we quickly take a pause here, sorry for pausing the battle, but I just want to point this out. Look at his stats. Look at that crazy debuff. He is down to 34 leadership, 30 speed when he's on an Eagle, 30 attack, and 0 melee defense. And in comes the Master Assassin here, going to hopefully do some really good damage. Got his awesome Wolverine claws, doing his spins and hacking down that Glade Lord, and you can see the damage he took just off one little stab in the back. And I'm going to be chasing him down. It's just ridiculous the amount of damage you can do with that combo. I absolutely love it. Over the right hand flank, Rat Ogres have piled into the Dryads to help finish them off. It looks like my opponent has got his Way Watchers firing into this blob now, and he did manage to take out the other unit of Mortars. But in retaliation, the Doomwheel, with some help of the Triads, has managed to neuter the Wild Riders and finish those guys off. And we're simply trying to hold back the two units of War Dancers with some cheap and cheerful Clan Rats. Got them in a nice little surrounding bubble here, just trying to hold them down and get a few extra shots in there where we can. Over in the distance, we do have some Hessian Triads moving in, which is actually a poor decision because I just dropped a Vortex spell and then kind of gone back to do something else. And my poor little Hessian Triads are going to walk straight through the Vortex. So we don't really get to see it in full action, but it is a very cool animation there. It seems to do decent damage to my own troops, so I'm sure it would have done very good to the Way Watchers as well. That mortar shot coming in and doing such nice damage across the board. That steady damage to both all four units over there. So, up in the sky here, the Glade Lord is back up in the air, but we do have little shurikens we can throw. So a little Master Assassin here going to be spinning and cobing up some shurikens, doing some pretty damn decent damage to them as well. We're going to be rearranging our battle line slightly, so we're pulling back the Rat Ogres to protect the Avalanche Mortars. Looks like that's what we were doing, but now I'm sending them in actually, knowing that there's not too much threat, and I really want to take the fight to the enemy and push that power balance in my favour. Mortar is just going to help clear up the Dryads and assist the Death Squad, who are up to 70 kills, which is very, very tasty. Master Assassin is going to be soon scooting his boot over to the middle here to ensure that Glade Lord can't really land, at least not safely. So the Riders pop in here just to help shatter off the Wild Riders. They don't want to get mixed in with these War Dancers, but then they're kind of integrated so heavily with the Clan Rats that I'm not too fussed. I'm really trying to push my opponent off the field now. The Way Watchers did manage to snipe out that unit of Triads, and they're going to be getting in some decent shots. So the Glade Lord comes in and seems to be trying to escape from my Master Assassins. What we've done here is once again drop Brittle Bones, slowing that speed down, slowing that melee defense. The Rougers are going to be chasing him, and then the Master Assassin comes in, pops Slippery on himself to speed himself up a little bit. And that Glade Lord is not having a good day, running for the hills here. It looks like, though, he is going to be just about able to escape. Maybe the Master Assassin won't get his trophy, but that is a complete shatter. However, the Master Assassin isn't done yet, and Kobe's up. Some shots getting him down to 16 health. And then with one final last spinning Kobe, those shurikens go circling through the air and take down the Glade Lord with a glorious kill. So the Master Assassin can add a Wood Elf Princeling and an Eagle hide to his collection. Now, my opponent's strength really just relies on some units which are fleeing off the field. We're going to be chasing those guys off with Clan Rats, getting some nice value out of them. And these four units of Way Watchers who are below half ammunition at this point. There's a massive mob chasing them, and the Doom Wheel has taken some damage from some early shots from them. However, is now ramming them apart, and is going to be tear-routing them off the field very comfortably. And with that, the power balance swoops in my favour, and that is a Pyrrhic victory for Clan Hessian, which I'm incredibly happy about, as it's my first game on ladder in weeks. I've been mainly doing casts, people have been sending me in and so forth, playing my housemate. I was very happy with that performance, and especially because I don't normally play Skaven, and I got to use some of their new units. So let's go see the end stats. So, very well played to Lucasa there and his Wood Elves. Really cool idea of kind of spreading his units around the battlefield, very Wood Elf style, and trying to pick apart my army. Now, for the Skaven army overall, I really did like the Avalanche Mortars, up to 45 kills on Waywatchers and Wild Riders and so forth. Their spread shot makes them so much better than the standard mortars. As you can see, only got 7 kills. They still did a lot of damage. They still kind of gave me a long reach that I could push my opponent away from my main force. He couldn't snipe out my units, the ones he wanted to. I could keep those Waywatchers at bay and be a constant threat. So I did like them, but they're a little bit underwhelming, especially compared to the Regiment Round version, which I think is a very good unit. As for the other good units, the new units, sorry, I really did like the Hessian Triads and the Ishka's Triads as well. I mean, they perform a fairly similar role. They did decent. They were just there to fend off Wild Riders. They did their job. There wasn't too much for them to do this battle, but what they did it well. Now, unfortunately, the poor Death Squad got friendly fired super hard multiple times. However, they still got 78 kills, and these guys mulch through infantry very tastily there. So 78 kills on Dryads, easily scare them off the field. But my MVP, well, not necessarily my MVP, but my favourite thing that I learned from this battle about Clan Hessian is that Brittle Bones combo of Hessian Sorcerer hopped in with a Master Assassin. You can just nuke the stats on a Lord and really go in for the kill. His attack animations are awesome. The Shuriken is awesome. I'm really excited to try out the Deathmaster Snicketch as well, who is obviously the ultimate assassin. But for the first battle, I saw my opponents running Wood Elves. I knew the assassins were quite squishy, so I thought he'd be a better option. I think he's going to be fairly competitive. He seems to definitely have his own little niche there. So overall, super fun game, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe. All that good stuff. We're going to have loads of new content coming out over the next couple of days and obviously into the future in the weeks. And if you do want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a Patreon just down below in my description, so you can just click on there and support in any way you can. But if not, just support by, carry on to watch the videos, like them, commenting, and all that good stuff. So some exciting news, I'm going to be starting my campaign tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed. And it looks most likely that it is going to be Clan Hessian. If you do want to vote, though, for either Malice Darkblade or ensure that Clan Hessian it does, in fact, get picked, you can simply go back a couple of videos. It's called, Vote Now, Malice versus Snicketch or something, and just leave a comment underneath on who you would like to see. But if you could do me a massive favour, I know I've been asking a lot recently for comments and feedback on stuff. I really appreciate everyone being super generous, actually, and kind of responding. I've been getting loads of comments. Out of interest, would you guys like me to live stream the campaign, or would you prefer it as just a video? I mean, live stream, it will get uploaded as a video anyway, so it seems like that's probably what I'm leaning towards. But what do you guys think? And do you want to see a Vortex campaign or a Mortal Empires campaign where we kind of set our own goals? Up to you guys, really. Honestly, I'm happy to do either one. But anyway, until next time, guys, peace, and stay awesome, and let me know what your new favourite units are. Catch you later.